It's been decided then. 3 subcontinental teams along with New Zealand are going to be fighting for top honours in the 2011 World Cup. It was Tharanga and Dilshan and their twin centuries that powered Sri Lanka to a semi-final spot. In the studio we have a bunch of happy chappies, but especially happy chappy right here in Sanath. Welcome to the show, Barry, Jonty, Boria. Sanath, what are your thoughts on today's game? Too easy, wasn't it? You wanted a little bit of a fight.
Eventually it became an easy game, but I think when we lost the toss, I was a bit worried, in Sri Lanka all the time. But it was a good wicket.
What was you were there in the morning? What was Jaya Baba's prediction after the toss?
I told them we need to get them before 200. It was 220, so that was okay. And just before 200, we can manage to get. That's why we bowl well. I'm not happy with the way we fielded today and lost a few catches. And I think other than that, the batsmen, especially Dilshan and Upul, batted really well and unbeaten 200s.
Don't worry, Murli would have already communicated whatever you would have wanted to say after looking at that fielding. He was livid, wasn't he? He was absolutely livid.
He doesn't like misfielding or catching. He wants to bowl his 10 overs for 34, 35 runs all the time.
Yeah, but the trouble is, what happens when he's got a field of somebody else? That's not good either.
So I think that's one of those the days for Murli got 10 overs for 54. But I think other than that, the bowlers bowled really well.
England struggled in the first innings. It was scratchy. It didn't look like an easy wicket to bat on. But then Tharanga and Dilshan just proved it otherwise. It looked all too easy for them, Korea.
Yeah, I mean the bowling also looked thin. I mean, except Graham Swan, he was getting turned at the top of the order, but nobody else looked the part. Chris Tremlett was just too short, got hammered. England, the innings every now and then you felt now they're getting a start, especially when those catches were, just being felt. Morgan and Jonathan Trott were going between overs number 35 and 40. You thought now perhaps the acceleration is coming. Just did not happen. Too easy for Sri Lanka.
When those catches dropped, did it at any point look like it was going to go England's way?
It did not, perhaps. I mean, at the same time, nowhere did the run rate cross 4. I mean, at no point in time in the entire innings. Sri Lanka always looked in control as far as I'm concerned. Better spinning side. Having said that, I thought England would be putting up a better fight. I mean, this was too easy for Sri Lanka.
Jonty, if you had 4 lives while you were batting in a one-day game in the quarter-final, you wouldn't have settled for 50. You would have made sure you got to 100.
I don't know. I need a lot more lives to get to 50 than just 4. So that's why I was called the cat in the field. It wasn't about my diving. It was about the 9 lives that are required to go and bat later. So, more than 4 required.
But Owen Morgan got his share of lives. There were 3 drop catches and an LBW possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just think that England are not very innovative. I mean, Dilshan opening the bowling. I mean, you 4 overs for 9. I mean, and a wicket. So I think sometimes when you think of that, when you know that the chances are, having seen their side and it's packed with spinners, that they're going to open with a spinner, whether your opening batsman, whether they play a different role. In other words, maybe you should open with somebody, not 2 correct players like Strauss and Bell, but somebody that might just try and take him on because they've got to keep him up. So, I mean, maybe just a thought, because England just never accelerated at any stage.